the etude of the egg, egginess, how to bring about a kind of gorgeous stability, and how to intentionally evoke a certain sense of boundary and connection. Start rather like a series of Russian dolls with the smallest egg. If we use the metaphor of an egg to describe the torso, with the top rib being very small, at the top of the torso, the base of the neck, just behind the collarbone, extending outwards a little with the line of the ribs, and then curving inwards again to the base of the pelvis, which also, in its outlet, is pretty much the same size as the outlet of the top rib, the birth outlet in women. So we really kind of have this beautiful container that is the torso. If you think about a tree that is cut and the rings of the tree, we might describe the first and innermost ring as the spinal cord, the next ring outwards as the vertebra that protects it. The next ring out would be this torso, surrounding and connecting to the spine at the back. And the next ring out would be our limbs that are not the torso, but another lateral ring outwards. We're dealing with that third ring, the torso. But just get a sense of the base of the torso, top of the torso, its volume. And like an egg, there are the contents. Robust, squishy, fluid, mobile organs that are stuffed full in this egg, right up to the inner surface, top to bottom. Heart, lungs, a segment of the diaphragm separating the heart and lungs from the intestines and including the reproductive organs, front to back, top to bottom, so full that they can act as a kind of fluid, boneless support. And with the metaphor of the egg and this sort of thickness of the fluidity within, it's beautifully supportive. It's not thin, so if the breeze were to blow, it wouldn't ruffle the surface as it would on the surface of a lake or a river. It's sort of slow moving and viscous, heavy, robust. And then to continue the imagery of the egg, if you like, from bottom to top, there is a spinal braid. Think of it as a continuous braid. And we want to massage that braid, saturate it with the fluid so that the fabric, the fibres of the braid swell and start, instead of being pulled tight, if you have a rope of many strands and you want to loosen a knot in the rope, it's no use pulling on the rope. You have to nudge the ends towards each other so that the fibres, the strands of the rope open out and soften. and we want to saturate the web of this braid all the way through so that it fills almost to the kind of the inner boundary of this egg. So let your central braid fill up as though you're pouring water over a sponge. You could pause the video here and take your egg for a little walk around the room and to notice how that is. So we'll move on now to the next Russian doll egg. This metaphor of the egg shape, we could now take in a bigger egg, starting just above the head, opening outwards, maybe not to the full extent of the arms, and then coming around and down to just beneath the seat of your chair. So just get a sense of the volume of this egg from top to bottom, the depth from front to back, the width from side to side. Now, in this magical world, we don't have any trouble breathing because we've got specially designed gills so that if we're sort of under the surface of the fluid of the egg, we're not going to find it uncomfortable in any way. This egg is also full. It could be that it's full of space, full of nothing. Doesn't really matter, but that we inhabit the whole volume of the egg. And by now, our braid has become so softened, a little bit like the mycelium that lives under the surface of a forest in the deep, rich soil. The braid and its filaments and tendrils can waft outwards through the second egg, through the permeous, is that right? Porous boundary of the first egg and out, so that its tendrils are delicately, if you like, wafting in the fluid or the space and reaching out to make contact with the inner surface of the second egg. So that with any movement, any of our lovely seaweed study movements, there's a kind of delicious delay as the fibrils change direction and follow our movements. And you could pause the video and take yourself and your inner egg and the middle egg around the space. And then the third egg. This is as big as you want it, really. Maybe as far as the ceiling and the walls. I'm upstairs, so maybe down to the ground floor. An almost cosmic egg. And again, this softened braid with its gorgeous filaments can delicately expand outwards and outwards and outwards in all directions. And it's as though the sensitivity of the tips of the fibrils, as they reach out to the environment and make that connection, very delicate connection, that sensitivity is open to receiving information, open to making a connection, so that we become our environment in a way. It's touching us and we're touching it. We are absorbed and we absorb. Now, if you sit in front of a Rothko painting in the condition of your egg, it becomes a huge experience. And I noticed this once in a concert. I wondered what it might be like to listen from the perspective of my egg, and really I began not to know where the source of the music was, whether it was me or the musicians or the environment. So this is one way in which to have an intentional possibility for evoking the safety of a boundary, of softening the boundary with the environment, and of integrating the internal experience, the kinesthetic inner experience, with the external sensory information, and of bringing that into some kind of balance.